Welcome back to the MetaStellar YouTube channel. For those who are new, every single Friday, the gang here at MetaStellar looks at the top 10 free science fiction and fantasy books on Amazon. Today's #1 free bestseller had an evil vampire trying to control the world and an unlikely duo. Okay, I should stop before I get into too much detail because I have 9 other books to tell you about first. Yeah, I'm saving the best one for last. So the MetaStellar is an online magazine of science fiction and fantasy. We publish original short fiction, reprints, news, essays, and lots of book reviews. And the link to today's article is posted down below, as are the links to all the books. The list changes constantly. Amazon updates the rankings, and authors and publishers change the pricing on their books, so they're no longer free. So grab them today while they're still free so you can have your weekend reading. Today I was joined by community members Mary Stoll, Carla Nordlund, Alex KOROLOV, and Amira Lutfi, none of whom unfortunately were able to make it here today for the taping. So maybe next time, guys. And if you want to join our community, we've published stories by several hundred authors. You can write original fiction for us. Our fall submission window starts tomorrow, October 1st, and runs through the end of the month, but we accept reprints throughout the year, and the link to that is going to be in the description box below as well. And if you'd like to join us on our team of book reviewers, just email me, and my email address is in the box below as well. And we're able to keep everything free thanks to our Patreon supporters. And the link to our Patreon page is also in the description box below. All right, let's get to the books. So book number 10 on today's list was, it's backwards here for me. It's Battleship Leviathan by Craig Martelle, the first of 6 books in the Battleship Leviathan space opera series. The other books are $1 to $7 each and are not in Kindle Unlimited. The last book isn't out yet, but will be released at the end of October, and you can pre-order it now. So if you don't know about Kindle Unlimited, it's like Netflix for books. You pay $10 a month and you read all the books you want. And a lot of bestsellers are in Kindle Unlimited, including all the Harry Potter books. It's a really great deal if you read a lot, which I do. So I am definitely a subscriber, and I recommend it highly if you have a Kindle device or a Kindle app on your smartphone. And you can also use it on the website, on the Amazon website. You can read books through the platform as well. So let's get to the story. Mary Stoll read this book, and she says that it starts with Mayor Declan Payne and his crew on a mission to explore the first fully intact alien derelict spaceship found. It belongs to the Progenitors, an advanced species that abandoned ships throughout the galaxy 1,000 years ago. But unlike the other ships, this one has been cloaked for 1,000 years and is still in pretty good condition. So maybe this ship can help humanity in its war with the Blaze Collective. So there's a war going on, and this particular battleship could be very, very advanced and give humans the edge. Mary says that this is a story for readers who enjoy space battles and military jargon. And she liked what she's read, but she's not going to keep reading and finish the book because it's not her favorite genre. But it is my favorite genre, and I love space battles and military jargon. So I will be checking it out this weekend. Next, we have Cinderstellar by J.M. Page, the first of 7 books in the Star-Crossed Fairy Tales series of sci-fi romantic fantasy. The other books are $1 to $6 each, and they are all in Kindle Unlimited. So I read this one. It's not my favorite genre. I don't like romantic fantasy. I don't like retold fairy tales. And I particularly don't like young adult protagonists. And the book starts out with Stella, who is at the Starforge Academy, but instead of being a student there, she's forced to be the janitor by her dad, who won't let her enroll and become a pilot. So what she wants to do is go have a career, going on missions around the galaxy, meeting new alien species, saving Earth from certain destruction. Instead, she's mopping the floors, and she's very unhappy about it. Her mom was a hotshot pilot, but her mom is gone. Her dad's remarried, and her stepsisters bully her awfully. And of course, there's a cute guy in school, and he's with one of her stepsisters. So she is whiny. And I know, because this is the kind of book this is, that she's gonna get everything she dreams of by the end. And if you're into that kind of thing, then it's readable and it's a light, fun read. But she's really awkward, and she doesn't stand up for herself. And I'm thinking, what kind of hotshot intergalactic pilot is she going to be if she can't even like go off and switch schools where her dad isn't an issue, and just go off on her own? So I don't have a lot of patience for her. I don't have a lot of patience for teenagers in general. And she kind of I didn't get far enough to know what her exact age was, but it kind of gave me the teenage vibes. And so I'm not going to be sticking with it. Next, we have another retold fairy tale. We've been having a lot of these this past year. It's like a huge trend. So Not Your Average Beauty by Michelle Helliwell is the first of 4 books in the Enchanted Tales romantic fantasy series. The other books are $3 to $5 each, and they are not in Kindle Unlimited. So Carla Nordland read this one, and she says it's set in the 1790s in Yorkshire. And Stephen, the Marquess of Pembroke and the Beast of Baronsfield, wakes up with no memory of the night before, and there's blood all over his hands, and his room is destroyed, and his servants kind of come in, and he starts piecing together what happened the night before. Apparently, he had turned into the beast and attacked the Viker's chickens and his beloved dog. But at least he didn't kill anybody. 5 years ago, he did kill somebody. So he's kind of like still stressed out about that. So he gets dressed, pulls himself together, and heads out to like set things right. Meanwhile, Rosalind is returning to the area with her uncle because her father's dead. And she has a choice. She can get married now, or she can wait a couple of years until she's 30, when she inherits a comfortable estate. So, they stop at the Viker's house, and the villagers accused her uncle of enabling the beast. And she gets out of the carriage at the exact moment when her uncle and Stephen are opening the door, and she falls out in an unladylike heap right into Stephen, the beast guy, and finds him incredibly handsome and mysteriously sad. They make awkward small talk, and then they separate. So then the book's point of view switches back to Stephen, and he's thinking about how unattractive and plain Rosalind was, and he figures that she's the perfect person for him to marry. And he decides to lock her down in a marriage agreement by the very next day. So apparently he's under some kind of curse, and the fact that a beautiful woman is involved in this curse somehow, but we don't get right at the beginning what it is or how it works. So Carla says that she loves fairy tales and historical romance, and she is the exact target audience for this book, and she loves it. She loves this version of the curse, and she thinks that Rosalind and Stephen are both interesting characters, and she feels grounded in the Yorkshire setting, and she's curious to see how the author plays with the concept of beauty as it ties into the curse. And the ups and downs of a marriage of convenience versus another relationship. And she says she's hooked and will absolutely keep reading. All right, next we have the 17 collection, number 1 by A.D. Starrling, the first 3 of 6 books in the 17 series of urban fantasy that's billed as a cross between Highlander and James Bond. The other books are $5 each, and they are all in Kindle Unlimited. Amira Lutfi read this back when we first ran the review, which was a few months ago. And she says that the opening line of the prologue is, "My name is Lucas Scott. Today I died again. This is my 15th death in the last 450 years. And she says she was sold right from that first line. And she says she wants to know more. And then right from there, it jumps right into chapter 1. So what the story is that Reed and Lucas own the Hasley and Soul Agency, a private investigation firm. And Reed is a former Marine and a cop. And it's 4 a.m. Reed gets a call from Lucas, and Lucas says that they have a new client who's another immortal who stabbed Lucas in the heart and pushed him off of the top of a 12-story building. And Amira says that this sounds awesome, and she is totally into it. Lucas only has 2 more deaths left before he dies for good. So she says that she does plan to be going back and finishing this book. And I'm going to check it out too. That's kind of like my kind of story. Then we have, here we go, The Darkest Winter by Lindsey Pogue, the first of 7 books in the Savage North Chronicles post-apocalyptic series. The other books are $3 to $6 each, but they are not in Kindle Unlimited. And I'm the one who read this, and I just picked the wrong books this week. So I'm not a fan of post-apocalyptic novels. As far as I'm concerned, reality is apocalyptic enough. Thank you very much. I'm good. I want my escapist reading to be like really escapist. But in the foreword, the author talks about the research they did on environmental issues and life in Alaska. And I was kind of intrigued. So the book starts out with Elle. She's in a car upside down and in pain. There's been an accident. We don't find out much more. And then immediately jump back to 4 months earlier. Elle is talking to her psychiatrist. She's been having sleep paralysis, where she has nightmares about her stepfather standing over her bed watching her. The guy's dead. In fact, he just died, and she inherited his house. And she doesn't know what to do. And after talking to the psychiatrist, she decides to go see the house and kind of put the ghosts to rest. And the next chapter is from the point of view of Jackson, who's a native Alaskan and a police officer. His wife is pregnant with their baby, and they've had 3 miscarriages so far, and it's something they're worried about. And they're heading out for some kind of an event. Then we switch back to Elle. She's driving to Eagle River near Anchorage, Alaska, back to the house where she grew up, her stepfather's house. And she wants to sell it as quickly as she can. And we get a lot of descriptions, the house and her very painful childhood growing up, and her estrangement from her twin sister who ran away when she was a teenager, a lot of backstory. The book moves very slowly, but the writing is excellent and very atmospheric, and Elle is a compelling character. Despite the slow pace, I'm getting sucked in. This isn't my genre, but I might stick with the book. Can't guarantee it. Like I said, it's not really my genre, and it does promise an environmental apocalypse coming up soon, which sounds a little depressing. So I'm iffy about it. But if this is your kind of story, and post-apocalyptic books have been doing great on these lists these past couple of years, check it out. It's free. Next, we have Chains of Time by R.B. Woodstone. And it's a standalone literary novel about race, family, and time travel. It won a bunch of awards, including the 2021 American Fiction Award for Historical Fantasy. This is the author's only novel on Amazon, but he says he's currently working on a sequel. Now, in his introduction and in his about author page, he talks about the fact that he's a white guy and he's writing about historical slavery, and that this is kind of an awkward subject. But he says it's important for white people to learn to deal with the issue, and half the proceeds from the novel are being donated to Equal Justice Initiative. So, you know, let's give him the benefit of the doubt. I read this book, or I read the first few chapters of it. And the first chapter is told from the point of view of an unnamed woman on her wedding day in Africa. His father is a king of a tribe, and she's going to be married to the son of another tribe in order to bring the two groups of people together. But instead, the slavers are about to come. She can see what's about to happen and even knows the name of the ship's captain. Then in the next chapter, we switch to the present day in Harlem. Terry, 15, is trying to protect his little sister from their abusive father. It's the first day of school, and his father's angry that his daughter is spending too much time with her grandmother. Their older brother's already at school at football practice. It's kind of a slow chapter. Terry and his little sister deal with their father. They get themselves to school, and so his sister doesn't talk. For the previous 2 years, she's been totally silent, but Terry can hear her thoughts. And also, he's been having a dream about a slave ship closing in on Africa and a girl standing on the shore watching it arrive. So that's a little creepy. And then we switch back again in time to the wedding and the preparations for the ceremony and everything goes into that. So it's very atmospheric and detailed. It's a little slow paced for my taste. It feels more like a magical realism book than hard science fiction. But if you like a thoughtful literary book to read this weekend, you might enjoy this one very much. And like I said, it won a lot of awards. Next, we have Lug Bounty by Liza Street, which couldn't get more different. This is the first of 7 books in the Charmslinger Paranormal Western series. The other books are $5 each, but they're not in Kindle Unlimited. Books 6 and 7 aren't out yet, but are scheduled to be released in October and February, respectively, and are available for pre-order. So this book is totally my speed. It starts out with Gracie, a bounty hunter, coming into a saloon and slamming a bag holding a bloody vampire head down on the bar. She wants to find the marshal so she can collect the bounty and head out of town. And she's already checked the jail, and the marshal isn't there. He's also not home with his wife. And turns out he's at a brothel. So Gracie is human, but she uses witch magic to help her bring down supernatural creatures. And the bounties she collects helps her feed her horse and buy new boots and, everything else that you have to do in the old Wild West. So it turns out that the vampire that she just took down killed the preacher's daughter, and the town wants to throw a big banquet for her to celebrate. But she just wants to get her money and directions to the nearest witch so she can replenish her stock of charms. I like her very much. I like the setting. I like the kind of fun Buffy the Vampire Slayer in the Midwest kind of, the Old West kind of situation happening here. Snarky, fun. I'm probably going to keep reading. All right, next we have Weapons Free by Daniel Gibbs. The first of 5 books in the Battle Group Z military sci-fi series. The other books are $1 to $3 each, and they are all in Kindle Unlimited. Yes. The last book will be released this December. So I read this one. This is the second time this book has been on this list. And based on the cover, I thought I was going to love this book because I love space battles. It's set 400 years in the future, more or less. And First Lieutenant Justin Spencer is a pilot for the Terran Coalition on a training mission in an abandoned system at the end of his 2-year reserve tour when they're attacked. Humanity has been at peace for 35 years, but the bandits have military-grade technology. And so, in addition to the attacks, multiple wormholes are opening up. The unit they're in isn't prepared for full-scale battle. Is this former foes, well-armed bandits, a new alien species, some other group? I love the beginning of this book. I love the action. And I was planning to come back and finish the book, but didn't. But now that I'm reminded of it, I might do that. Now. Next, we have Fallen Grid by Vincent Valentean, a standalone novel of EMP survival. We've seen this author on the list before with a couple of other EMP survival novels. And Alex KOROLOV read this one. And he reads all our EMP books because he's a fan of the genre. And he says that as far as EMP books, this one's pretty entertaining. So what EMP is stands for electromagnetic pulse, and it wipes out all electronics, but doesn't touch anything. But doesn't touch anything that's living. So usually in these books, the world goes crazy and everyone starts turning on each other. And this is a kind of a different premise. So John is an ex-Marine turned vigilante who killed almost 200 scumbags and ended up in prison because of it. And then while in prison, he's killed 20 more thugs in the last 6 months alone, and often wound up in solitary confinement because of it. Now the prison's power has gone out, and all his enemies are out of their cells, and they want to take him down. But he's not going to go down without a fight. Meanwhile, he's got an ex-wife out there, and he still cares about her, and he wants to make sure that she survives the chaos from the EMP blast. So Alex says that he loves the premise of the story, and he plans to finish it. He says it's like a bag of movie popcorn that you start eating and can't put down. It's not that great, but there's something about it that makes you want to keep eating. Then we have the #1 of free bestseller today on Amazon Sci-Fi and Fantasy Shelf, Between Blood and Stone by Marie Harte, the first of 4 books in the Between the Shadows paranormal romance series. The other books are $3 to $4 each, and they're all in Kindle Unlimited. So it's a world with vampires and fae in it, and shapeshifters. And the author's a New York Times and USA Today bestseller, which bodes well. And the writing style is awesome. It's snarky, it's fun. I enjoyed it. It starts right in with the action. Okay, I was put off a little bit by the half-naked vampire on the cover, but I can look past that. Okay, so Varu, who's one of our protagonists, is more than 300 years old. He's been selected by the goddess Hecate, the Greek goddess. And he and a group of other vampires are on a mission for her, and they've come to Seattle to find somebody. And they're attacked by shapeshifters and a mysterious woman who's able to best him in a fight and escape. She has some kind of magic that she holds over him. And they kill most of the attackers, but the woman escapes, leaving a magical dagger behind. So I like the fact it starts right with action. I'm enjoying the banter between the vampires. And I might stick with the book. It's fun. In the description of the book, it says that there's like a big evil vampire that's trying to take over the world. And Varu and this other mystery woman, who's Faye, might have to team up to take him down. So, I don't know. It kind of sounds like fun. And so there you go. There's our list for today. If you read any of these books, if you like them, if you're planning to, let us know in the comments below. And come back next week. If you don't want to miss any of these videos, subscribe to the channel. If you want to get the newsletter with this article every single Friday at 5 o'clock, subscribe to our newsletter so you get all the books as you get off work, for those of you who are like still going to work. And you can support us on Patreon. Your support helps pay for the original fiction that we publish. And I want to thank our Patreon supporters. You guys rock. You guys are awesome. And our first anthology is out. And you can buy it. So the links are in the description box below as well. So, yeah. So if you have a story to submit, tomorrow is the opening of our fall submission window. See you all next week. Bye-bye.